Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, so it's sad but true. Unfortunately, the Yanbian save that has been so much fun and has gone on for so long has come to an abrupt end. And it really kind of is a shame. As I said yesterday, this teaches us that we should be very careful about some of the editor data files that we use to make sure that we're not using something that will go a long part of the way and then sort of suddenly crash on us. Before we leave the ambient save forever, I mean, not forever, I'm always going to have, something saved, and we'll have it available if you want to check it out. But before we leave it like forever, I do want to take a quick look back at it and sort of remember some of the good times and take a look at some of the players. So this is actually looking really weird. There's something kind of weird going on here on the side of the menu, but whatever. I put us back over to the normal FM skin, I think. Let's take a look and make sure that I did. I've been playing around with different types of skins, and I may have screwed something up here. Yeah, skin Football Manager. So that's supposedly what we're at right now. This is a little bit weird, but whatever. And we'll just take a quick look over here at our squad, which is up here. You can't see it. And yeah, I can see that there's some sort of problem. Something hasn't really come over all the way. So we're not on our hardcore mode anymore. I just wanted to take a quick look and see, which of these players ended up with the highest amount of potential and what the ability looked like and stuff like that. No surprises here is that Jubin is really the wonder kid of the bunch. I'm not going to look into it and figure out exactly what his potential ability was, what his current ability was, or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, his talent is definitely higher than anybody else that we had. These current attributes are not really great, but I mean, we knew anyway through the way that he had been playing for us that this kid was special. I mean, only 1 goal out of 8 appearances at this level, but an excellent average rating and a tremendous average rating at the level below. And he was definitely a star, as was Jakob Dikoeng, who had the 4-star current ability. Jongsan Bing came out with a 4-star current ability as Lavia. Mwanta had almost 5-star everything, and was a great player. As we saw in that match that unfortunately ended abruptly. I just want to look really quick here, and I haven't even looked at this beforehand, before showing you any of this stuff. See if there's any sort of weird things I didn't expect. So I didn't expect Li Chang and Li Min, these guys, to have such poor star ratings, which shows you, if you play with stars on, that, the star ratings don't really necessarily mean that much. I mean, no wonder he was so good when he had chances, because look at his finishing. But yeah, very poor heading, as we saw when we played with him. As I've said the whole time, you don't need to have stars on. You don't need to have attributes on to see stuff. If you use your eyes when you watch the game, you can see what's going on. You can see what's happening, right? You can tell which guys are maybe better than others, right? Lee Jin-young, who I really liked, ended up with maybe 3-star potential ability. I probably never would have signed him if this were like a normal game with stars on. Instead, he became kind of a star player. Here's Torres, who everybody said that I should sell, and I was trying to sell. He had not even 3 full stars of potential ability, right? In the end, he's nowhere near, the level of some of these other guys. So, I mean, even somebody like Lazzo, who I didn't think very highly of, had much more potential ability and stuff. So, pretty interesting to see. We did have some Chinese players who were excellent. Liu Shaoziang, of course, was very obvious. Interestingly enough, Li Changyi was coming out with not so great potential ability in terms of his star rating. I think that this is largely, though, because of how good Liu Shaoziang really was. As you can see with these goalkeeper ratings and with some of these other things, I mean, this guy was an absolute monster of a star. So some pretty cool stuff to look at. When we go into the development center and take a look at some of the guys that were being promoted and stuff, I didn't show you this screen, I think, at all. I mean, Hutchin, we were never going to start him. This guy was a signing from the director of football, never really should have been signed. But Lautaro de los Santos is a guy that I signed with the potential of bringing in as a right back in place of Park Myung-sung. And he definitely had the potential to do so, but in terms of current ability, he just wasn't quite there yet. Park Myung-sung, by the way, is only a 3-star player. So again, to sort of have you keep this in mind, I mean, this guy we thought was a good player for most Super League sides. The fans loved him, very consistent. I was going to play him until the end of his career, right? And it turns out he was only a 3-star player. If this had been a normal save, I probably wouldn't have been starting this guy at all. So again, there's a lot of these things to sort of keep in mind when you're doing your own save, right? Like some of these guys are probably not necessarily going to be as good in terms of star ratings or in terms of overall attributes as they are playing, right? Part of this is probably because of the tactic that we were using, right? That's probably a major part of the reason why like we were able to have so much success. And I think as well that, part of the success that we have is likely due to the fact that players don't necessarily perform according to their star ratings, right? There's some randomization that's thrown in. There's some like good and bad here and there. And so again, it's something else to keep in mind. When you play Football Manager, I guess the real point of this is that you don't want to look at this as if this is just sort of like a cut and dry like experiment or whatever, where the answer is like right obvious and right in front of you, right? There are cases in which somebody might not have the best star rating, but has something else that's really good about them that really catches your eye, and you say, okay, well, this guy maybe is a little bit better than I thought. Looking here at the under-19s, Li Zhuo, who had a really bad personality, was definitely excellent. I have the transfer value here over to US dollars, which also gives you an idea of just how little money some of these guys are worth. That's because of the save that I have coming up next. That gives you a quick look there at the under-19s. A lot of those signings that I made that I personally was kind of proud of, these guys who nobody had heard of and who the scouts thought were no good. It looks like in terms of star ratings, they may not have really been all that good after all. But, that's sort of the fun of the game, right? That's sort of the happiness that we have when we play through this whole thing. We'll take a quick look here at the under 21s as well as we move along. In fact, let me change back here to the camera just for a second. So I will tell you that this isn't the end of the rodeo. I know that this is sort of the post-mortem video for this save, but we're going to have a new video tomorrow, and we'll be talking about exactly what the new project is going to look like, and we'll be talking a little bit more about sort of the future of the channel and where things go from here. We're nowhere near done. This isn't sort of like a one-and-done type thing. There is, in particular, a long-term project that I'm looking at doing with FM23, but I'm still waiting for the editor data files and stuff like that to be finished up. And this time around, it's going to be from somebody who's like trustworthy, who actually checks their stuff, make sure that there's no conflicts, so we're not going to have all the crazy stuff that we had with this save happen again. Anyway, I'm still waiting for this under 21 thing to load. It's going to take a couple of minutes, and this can be a lesson to all of us that you shouldn't go like totally nuts. Never go totally nuts. Never go all in when it comes to buying young players. And here it's up, so we'll just take a real quick look at this. I'll move myself over here kind of to the middle and just take a look at sort of like some of the guys in terms of star ratings, which we know is so important, the guys who are good or bad. It's like this guy, Dario Osorio, wasn't quite going to make our squad as it stood. He was right behind Jakob de Koeng, and we had Pedrinho in front of him instead. If I had star ratings turned on, I probably would have made that choice the other way around. That just sort of goes to show kind of like what happens and what doesn't happen. At any rate, nobody here is worth like super duper amounts of money, right? Nothing really crazy going on. And we just have a whole bunch of players who were marginal players who I should never have signed in the first place. So let that be a lesson to you. That's kind of what will happen with the hardcore mode turned on. In terms of club finances, our transfer budget was like under $500,000. We have about $3 million in the bank. Our wage budget was $2.4 million per week, which is incredibly high for the level that we were at. We look again here at the schedule. So we only lost a single league match the entire time. We've never lost a Chinese FA Cup round. The only league match that we lost was this one, Wuhan Changjiang, by a 1-0 margin. And part of the reason why, I guess this is Henan, not Hebei we were facing. The reason why we've had to end here is because when I played this game against Hebei, we go 30 minutes in and then everything crashes. And while I do know that it would be possible for me to go through and like maybe holiday through it and try to find a different part of the save to continue it on, I don't really want to do that, to be honest with you. I think that we may need to move on, and I think that there are major problems with this save file that are causing this to happen. So there you have it. In terms of like sort of the legends of the club, we haven't had much. In terms of club icons, that would be Rovaglia, who was 4.5 stars in the end. Probably could have improved a little bit more than that, I think. Rovaglia was a great player. As I've said before, I really recommend signing him. Pak Myung-sung was favored personnel. The fans love him. I love this guy a lot. I know that Mwanta has like the 5-star, ability or just about, but Wanta couldn't score the way that Ravagli could score, right? And this is the other guy, Christopher Paulsen, who had a lot of potential ability that the fans also liked. Interesting to see that these attributes are not quite as high as I guess I would have expected. But anyway, cool stuff there to fool around with. That's going to be kind of the post-mortem here for this save, and we'll keep this a real short video for you. We'll have another video here today where we're going to look at skins and sort of the thing that I'm looking into next. And then I think tomorrow we're going to potentially get into sort of the future of the channel and what the new save looks like. So it's going to be a little bit strange here for the next maybe day or two while I get all this set up, but we'll be right back at you with more action before you know it. And we'll talk to you then. Bye.